Many thanks for choosing us. Let's begin with lawyers who embattled Assin North MP who have filed a notice of appeal in Cape Coast. According to the lawyers, the decision of the court was not based on settled laws and were in clear violation of the Constitution 1992. They want the Court of Appeal to overturn the decision of the Cape Coast High Court. The NDC has also petitioned the Judicial Service to punish the registrar of the Cape Coast High Court and others who they say frustrated them when they wanted to file processes at the court last Tuesday. Kojo Nyako is our man in court and he joins us on the line with more. Kojo, you have a copy of the notice of appeal. What are the specific requests made by the lawyers of the Assin North MP?
So Aisha, the grounds of appeal, it says that the decision of the High Court is per incurium. The per incurium means that it was settled with no basis in law. And so the ground is that they ground it on the basis that the determination of foreign law, in this case, the Canadian law pertaining to owning allegiance to Canada, is a question of fact to be proven by leading evidence. But the court did not make them do that. Then the High Court did not also allow for proof of foreign law in the determination of the issue of whether or not the appellant owed allegiance to any other country apart from Ghana. The second one is that High Court erred in law and acted out of jurisdiction by not referring the interpretation of Article 94(2)(a) of the 1992 Constitution to the Supreme Court, having regard to the different interpretations of the parties in the suit. And so they said that the High Court wrongly assumed jurisdiction in breach of Article 131 of the Constitution by purporting to enforce Article 94(2)(a) thereof against the appellant on the alleged grounds that he owed allegiance to Canada at the time of his nomination as a candidate for the December 7, 2020 parliamentary election. So these are the main grounds of appeal. So they are also seeking some declaratory reliefs from the Court of Appeal. One, that a declaration that the judgment of the High Court Cape Coast, the judge who presided over the case, is void for having been issued out of jurisdiction. The second one, an order setting aside the judgment of the High Court Cape Coast that was also given by Justice Kwesi. The third, an order setting aside the award of cost against Mr. James Quayson in favor of the petitioner, that is Mr. James Quayson. And then the last one, the cost in favor of the appellant. Now, after the court processes, the national chairman of the NDC, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, has been addressing the media. He says that they were coming to the Assin North constituency to gauge the mood here, to speak with the people, to assure them that the man is still, the NDC was still working on the processes, and whether there is a by-election or the Court of Appeal processes they go through, they believe that the NDC will still win the seat. And so they have been to the constituency. What happened in the constituency was that the main road, it was like a triumphant entry of Mr. James Quayson back to the constituency. There were brass band music, the people were dancing, and they said that they know no MP other than Mr. James Quayson. Now, something interesting also happened. Mr. James Quayson has been addressing the chiefs of this particular area. And then he indicates that he's still their MP and he came from Canada after being in Surgeon for a very long time. He's worked very hard to get some money to come and support the people. So essentially, his motive of coming to stand for the MP here is to just give back to the society here. So he was shedding tears, and so it brought some kind of calmness and so some somber mood before the chiefs here. And so that is what has been happening here. We've been also speaking with the national chairman of the party, Sami Jemfi, and then the vice national chair of the NDC party as well.
All right. Listen to the national chairman of the NDC, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo.
Our MP to the constituency to engage with the party at the constituency level, and some of our regional executives are already there, to assure them of the unflinching support of the party behind the MP, and to also remind them that the decision that they took in electing Honorable Quayson as their Member of Parliament, of which our follow-up and monitoring indicates that the past 6 months that he has been in Parliament, he's lived up to expectation, and the people are very happy about the work that he has done so far. And to go and assure them that together with the constituents and those who voted for him, we will move and support him to ensure that justice is not denied the people, and that the vote and the confidence that they repose in him will not be dashed by anybody through any machination. So we are going there, and the party wants to send a very clear signal that both legally and politically will fight this battle to its logical conclusion.
We are saying that the decision was a travesty of justice and should be overturned by the Court of Appeal because, number one, the trial judge lacked jurisdiction to determine the matter. The matter borders on the interpretation of the Constitution. Rival meanings were put on the meaning of Article 94(2)(a), which was at the heart of this case. And per the laws of this country, the High Court judge was bound to refer the matter to the Supreme Court to interpret same, because such issues fall within their exclusive jurisdiction under Article 130 of the 1992 Constitution. Secondly, we are saying that the trial court had no authority to determine this matter on the basis of foreign law without trial, without calling evidence. It was wrong for him to have resorted to Wikipedia and to information contained on the so-called renunciation certificate or a renunciation certificate to determine foreign law, because per Section 1(2) of the Evidence Act, foreign law is a matter of fact, and the Supreme Court has said that foreign law can only be determined at trial by adducing evidence, preferably through expert witnesses, and that was not done in this case. You realize that this matter was hurriedly conducted and concluded on the basis of pleadings or adduction of evidence and so on, and we think that is against the Evidence Act and the laws of this country. Apart from that, there is the issue of the decision being in violation of certain laws and certain decisions of the Supreme Court. That is what the lawyers call per incurium. When a judge decides a matter in flagrant disregard for law or binding decisions of superior courts, that decision is per incurium. So we are saying that the decision violates Section 21D of the Representation of the People Law, PNDC Law 284, which says that qualification must be as at the time of election and not nomination. Again, it violates the Supreme Court decision in the case of S Party, Electoral Commission, Pakwesi Indium, interested party, which says that nomination period is different from nomination days. And so the nomination period is not just the date, the period between when forms are picked and submitted, but the nomination period goes beyond the nomination days, which is the period where forms are picked and submitted, and includes the period that the EC as an administrative body will use to assess the nomination form submitted, vet the information on same, offer opportunity for a candidate to correct, amend, or even hear and determine petitions that are challenging that nomination. And so, granted, or as
that was Sami Jemfi, who is the National Communications Officer of the NDC. Kojonyako, the embattled MP himself has been touring the area and engaging the constituent. Why has that become necessary?
Well, from the Court of Appeal, the processes they filed at the court, they proceeded to this area. They said that the people were yearning to see him, and it was very important that he also saw him. So he came with the national leadership of the party. They came right at the entrance to Assin Breku. You could see him in short, riding high and receiving some chants, some applauses and all of that. The people were chanting, saying that that is their MP, because for the past 6 months that he's been in office, he's done something spectacular that none of his predecessors has been able to do. And so from here, they went to the Omahine's palace, and then they proceeded to address the Omahine. The first to speak was the chairman, national chairman of the NDC, and then the other subsequent speakers also spoke. And then Mr. James Quayson himself has been speaking, and he's spoken for the first time before the chiefs and people of the area.
Opa dear ya mama for near. But Omo Meriben, it will not be forever. Their days are measured. And to me, I'm fighting for you people. If I have devoted my life, life as you as I make one more. More now, as I must mojitum. Dear Contoquano. Obiama, me, I near Simi Swing in a year. I do not wear your party some more. I say not here. Now, my bass me was a party about woman met me, says, I say not, you met me panel, any and this party. Adam Mahama Bahana, Yura Mahama Baye, Yan Campbell Bayano. I said, Ben, no, Gina Jomo catching an also to me who said, Moapia, a candidate here, my father, or Passover Buamo. Because I smell the catcher. Sanyama Hunyatin and Baye, or money, what Canada 40 years plus, that's only minimum radio. I know and to crack it. I respect the law. I'm still your member of parliament. I'm still your member of parliament. O mani ye yenti nambai. Enipa nkwara na ewo mi ahokyere ewo mti nambai. Kwano betumi aton pure water ne sache plantain chip ne pan no ade abobra. O se ehwe adwuma papa mo ye. Ehwe school mo moko. Enti when I told Your Excellency mama no. O kasa wodwuma so o kai se oba boa me. Ne am Assin North a model constituent. Constituent that's Minim so bass obey. Eti mesumi le foundation obia ni oba stop we put to a person the Assin North ya. Omo pa ya meka breko ni Assin North nyina kwa so gold. No we are ba no baby bia mo bisa se bia wo free ba be sa de wo de waye. Thank you. And the engine now Assin North ma be sisia. Over Assin Central now, if you Assin South, now so be Assin North. And they are now county also over. And then the man will say, Obiaba, person your mind see or no see. Ain't it when they are more fun to say? A quite be arsenal, young mama whom many I say. When can I question? A mouth for good young share. And remember,
you have the embattled James Quayson speaking to the constituents, and he's been explaining that he's going through all of that because of the love he has for the constituents, and that nobody can stop the improvement and development he wants to bring to Assin North. He's been assuring the constituents that all of these will not last long and that there will be a closure to all of that. But he's also assured them that he's still the MP of Assin North, so they shouldn't worry. Now, Kojo Nyako, what next for the NDC after today's visit?
Well, so currently, the national chairman, Ofosu is addressing the gathering there. They number up to about 300. And then the regional chairman has also addressed them. Madam Sheraite Sami Jemfi has also addressed them. So from here, they will come back to Accra and to pursue the court processes. Once they have filed the notice of appeal, they will come and then they will wait for the other legal processes that would also happen. In fact, remember that an indigene or a resident from Assin North has also filed an application before the Supreme Court seeking interpretation or invoking the exclusive or the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to interpret Article 94(2)(a). And so we wait for all of these processes to happen.
Definitely, this is something that we are monitoring with keen eyes, and we'll be updating our viewers with up to minute updates on this one. And